Like Campari and orange juice poured over ice? Mmm, taste it. Try it tonight. Bitter, sweeter, better. Campari. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
Are you wondering what to do this holiday season? Will it be the same? Will you be able to give your family all that they need? Well, with TDC Financial Services, all your holiday woes will disappear. You can get up to $35,000 unsecured for your holiday needs. Give us a call at 465-6516 or 469-5430 to find out how we can help to make your holidays happier for you and your family. TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Good morning. It's February the 8th day. No, it's the 8th day of February. 2021, and we're in the studios of WINN FM. It's time for another episode of Voices. My name is Socrates. I'm co-hosting today with Magaret Stevens. And we want to bid you, one and all, good morning on the various platforms, radio, internet, live and direct. We're in the studios of WINN FM. Once again, welcome to another episode of Voices. Co-host.
Good morning.
Mm-hmm. That's it? Okay. We're going to have some fun today. There are a whole lot of people out there very, very happy to hear your voice this morning.
Okay.
And last week you were missing. A friend over there was saying, where's Margaret? Okay, she's here this morning joining us. And so she's co-hosting today. Yes. And today's topic, we thought we'll get a little mischievous and speak about the vaccines. And the topic today, well, the conversation, I hope we can have a little, the mischief going on. The whole thing is to vaccinate or not to vaccinate. Because we know, and we look into the stats as to how many doses our government has paid for, how many have been donated by the Taiwanese, and the various islands. Okay. Have been getting their, the numbers of vaccines. And Willa is boasting.
Yes.
I saw some Facebook posts of friends I know, people I know who are actually boasting, yeah, I got my vaccine, etc., etc. And of course, so on the globe, we have the anti-vaxxers. And your one, they're making the cases as to why they would not take it because there's so much mistrust. Mm-hmm. And of course, based on what we've seen so far on the globe, with the various vaccines out there competing for the contracts, one is very suspicious. We hear there are variant strains of the virus that may not be compliant to the vaccines and such. That's a whole lot of discussion. So we are told that here in St Kitts and Nevis, we should have
21,000
vaccine.
Yes.
And our population is?
Well, closer to 70,000.
Combined.
It said it's going to be 20% of the population.
20% of the population. Yeah. And of course, they'll deal with some demographics first, maybe the elderly first.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Those that are high at risk.
High at risk.
Yeah.
President Company included. Okay, so the numbers to call if you wish to join in conversation, we would wish you to do so because it's a very important topic. 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. Those are your local lines. For the overseas line, we go to 718-265-6948, and we traverse to the UK. Because we in the UK, there's Florida first. 508-921-4619. Now to the UK. And we hear the variant strain in the UK is more deadly, is more dangerous, and spreading faster.
Apparently it's spreading faster, yes.
Okay. I'm going to come to a story that really have me concerned because, anyway, for the UK line, we got 0333 044 0065. Now, over the weekend, I ran into a family up at the food court there by Rams. And I heard the accent, I said, Birmingham. She said, how do you know? I said, I've been there, you know. And we had a conversation, but there was a family of 5, mother, daughter, husband or son-in-law, and 2 kids.
Okay.
And none was wearing mask. When I mentioned my name, she says, take off your mask. So she could see me. I was in that open space wearing my mask.
Okay.
Not because we're told that we're becoming too complicit
Well, we are.
or complacent,
But we are, yeah.
but we are. And it's after I drove off, I realized she had to ask me to take off my mask. I'm thinking, okay, you're from the UK. I don't know if they were taking nationals, they're on vacation, etc. But that was the impression I got.
Yeah.
How long have you been back home? You know, those are my questions, man. And you're there, like, just nonchalant. None of them in a mask.
You know, I think that, you know, people have become very complacent because people are of the mindset that COVID isn't sort of running rampant within
In the Federation.
within the Federation, apart from where they're supposed to be, which is in the quarantine environments. But recently we've heard that there have been mishaps with quarantine.
Human factor.
And the chances are that, yes, COVID probably is out here.
Yep. Until we find a case definitively, we still have the
With local
false
spread.
sense of security.
Yes, yes.
And that is why, irregardless, I wear my mask.
And sanitize.
And
think,
sanitize.
You know, what I've been saying a lot is that people, I think, need to take personal responsibility and do what is best for you. So wear your mask. Make sure that your masks are clean on a regular basis. No, for the individual.
Yes.
Because I don't think that it hasn't worked, you know, this sort of...
Mandate?
Yeah, it hasn't worked because people are just like, well, we don't have to do it. COVID isn't, you keep telling us that COVID isn't here. We've had the borders closed down. We've had this done. We've had that done. So why are we still wearing masks? These are the things that, you know, the conversations that I hear.
And we hear the pandemic theory.
Yes, yes.
And because of this, there's a history of mistrust.
Yes.
When it comes to people of our... Okay, good morning, welcome to Voices. The topic today, and you're gone. We would have missed that caller. And I hope it's one who wanted we on the topic of to vaccinate or not to vaccinate.
Yes,
okay, continue.
The pandemic theory as well. And, you know, and people, I've been reading a lot of stuff, sort of in social media. People just don't believe that there is a COVID virus. And that hurts me, because I've had family members that have passed due to COVID.
Condolences.
And
so it hits home.
Yes, and I've had friends, very close friends.
Yes.
And one of my friends, her grandfather died one week, and her father died the following
That's
week.
in the UK.
Yes.
Okay, it's very prevalent there. And well, we know of. I think there's a 4th one forthcoming. The AstraZeneca vaccine.
That's the Oxford vaccine.
Oxford vaccine.
Yeah.
Is that one where you have to take 2 doses within a certain time frame?
I'm not sure about the Oxford vaccine.
But Pfizer's?
Pfizer's, you have to take 2 shots, 21 days apart. The Moderna, it's 2 shots, 28 days
20
apart.
days apart.
But I'm not really okay with the Oxford one. But I know that when I was listening to the news this morning, that South Africa had actually halted the rollout
of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Is not to... the efficacy rate is about 65%. They're not sure.
73, I think they said.
If it's affecting the new variant.
Exactly.
3 strains of
South Africa has variants as well. Yeah. But what they were saying, what their Minister for Health was saying, was that the population that they trialled it with, 2,000 persons, where the
sample group,
the average age was 31, and he's saying the population. So is it really going to protect the population that they're looking at, their elderly population, their population that have risk factors?
They're more concerned about.
Yeah.
So my question, because the topic today we're trying to get people to weigh in on to vaccinate or not. If we're hearing that within the UK that new variant strain is more prevalent, is more deadly, and is spreading faster, and we're here in SKN, we have travelers from the UK coming in. Are we equipped to identify that new strain? Or should we start to vaccinate our population next week? What happens? Do we trust it empirically to say, okay, this is it. This is end game. We don't have to worry about anything else because they have yet. When I say they, the epidemiologists, they have yet to tell us definitively if the current vaccine is effective 100%.
Yes.
They're still guessing.
Yes. Efficacy has been, I don't think anybody has got up into the 80s or 90s yet with the different vaccines. So, and the vaccines are designed to do different things. Some are going to attack it at,
Initial stage.
DNA level. Some are going to attack the whole virus. Some are going to attack it, prevent you from getting it. So there are different. The vaccines are doing different things.
So
you should
we're in
have
the
got
experimental stage.
No, yes, yes, we are. We're still experimenting because the trials just haven't been long enough, and I understand why the urgency. I do, because the death rate just keeps climbing. So I understand the urgency for a vaccine, and be it a vaccine that can kill the whole virus or.
Look at the death rate in the U.S. compared to other countries
and the UK.
that applied the safety protocols. Australia shut down for a long period of time.
Yeah,
that worked effectively.
Yes.
So I would say that the death rate in those demographics like the U.S. can be attributed to
non-compliance.
Right,
Yes.
not necessarily the vaccine itself.
The same with the UK.
Because here in SKN, we've been able to contain to a large extent all the incoming cases.
Yes.
Quarantine, very stringent measures. It has worked.
It has.
It has worked. So
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Well, to the point.
Yes, it has.
So we've trust our health authorities, so to speak, to the extent they have been able to keep us safe by insisting that we stay compliant, we hand sanitize, social distancing, quarantine, etc. when it was necessary.
Yes.
Do we trust them now when they say, well, take the vaccine?
I think that people need to inform themselves.
Yes.
I think, for me personally, this is my opinion, Magaret Stevens, not the opinion of the radio station, it's my opinion. I'm going to wait and see.
We did that, here in SKN. We adopted a wait-and-see approach around the region, and we were able to learn from the mistakes others have made.
Exactly.
And when some people went ahead and opened up the borders, and reopened, and we said, hey, no, we got some criticism, but the results, as they've gone out so far.
And I was one of the critics as well. But now I see that we did the right thing. I mean, the right thing in terms of, oh dear. I'm going to put my foot in my mouth again.
That's okay.
Okay, the right thing in terms of, preventing the virus spreading widely through the federation, but we're not doing anything to combat the consequences of doing that.
Okay, you lost me there. We've done the right thing in terms of constraining.
Yes, we have.
But we didn't do anything to combat the consequences.
The consequences
financially?
of doing that, yes, and economically.
So we know they've done some things. So you're saying that's not enough? It's not
like
broad.
What?
Well, the stimulus to speak about that, because that was a rollout. The when the that word there, I'm trying to find delayed payments.
Yes.
The no. Anyway, so there are those measures that the government came into.
Yes.
I applaud for.
I applaud them for that, but why has it stopped there? There needs to be more. We have to recognise that there is no norm now. We're not returning to any norm because we have, our tourism structure feeds in from the UK, America, predominantly.
Yes.
Canada. They've got their variants. So when we look at that, what are we going to do now?
I would argue that no one initially thought that this would take so long. I think we were looking at maybe a 6-month time frame and things would start to ease because we targeted this for reopening the border is now extended and extended again. We have to keep
Yeah.
moving the
But-
goalposts.
But we've seen
So-
we've seen a pattern.
Yeah,
We've
okay.
seen a pattern over the years.
Over the years.
Yes. Well, I have, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. The pandemic has just really brought everything to a pinnacle, really. So I've seen hurricanes come and go, where no food has been able to come because we import everything. I've seen people buying rotten food on the shelves because they've had no other option. I've seen hurricanes damage Dominica. So our fresh fruit and vegetables were affected. Again, people having to buy rotten stuff because they had no other option.
So you say we've been mainly reactionary?
All the time. And I
Okay.
think we need to now sit back and start being proactive because we now have this pandemic that's affecting the world.
In terms of the natural disasters, we know we have an annual hurricane season.
Yeah.
And we here in Eskin, and across the territory, we keep our fingers crossed, hoping that
Yeah.
it's a hit and miss, we won't get hits. And so there's that complacency that comes into that. This too shall pass. So we go from one stage hurricane to a natural disaster, and we survive it, and we help each other within the region. I recall when we sent some, I think it was $1 million to Dominica,
Yeah.
with the hope that should we have sustained such damage, somebody will assist us. So there's that kind of we'll get by because of a little help from a friend. You're talking about a sustainable policy that identifies these interruptions, but nobody anticipated
No, and nobody
at
could
this
have.
scale.
But, the
So as much money as there may have been in the kitty
yes,
for contingencies, this has been an extended one.
yes.
Because if you have to look at our neighbors and how they are not really, I won't say surviving, how much they're negatively affected, we're
Everybody's
still in a
been
better position.
Everybody's been negatively
So?
affected. How are we in a better position? How are we in a better position?
But small is better because we wait to learn from their mistakes. You don't have the spread. Okay, in
Yes.
Antigua right now they have, I think is 288 cases
Yeah.
with 92. We have 40 with about 4
Active cases.
active cases. Good morning, caller. We would have lost the call again. You gotta be quick on the trigger. So comparing our closest neighbor in terms of going down to the South Antigua, they will have currently 288 cases
Yeah.
with 22 active,
Okay.
and they will have recorded some death. To mention St. Lucia, they're not doing too well at all.
No.
Barbados,
Jamaica.
and we would have all had our eggs in the same basket,
Yeah.
dependent on our economy so desperately dependent on those demographics that we forced to open.
Yes.
Locally, our government got sick. Why don't open the borders? This and that and that. And there was an attempted opening, and of course, because of the explosion of new cases in the UK,
Yes.
one of our main source markets, as you mentioned, we had to close again. So beyond that, what do we do? Because you only had so much in the kitty. Call up, please. You're live on Voices. Welcome to Voices. Morning.
Yeah, good morning, man. How are you?
Okay. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, thanks, man. I wanted to ask a quick question. I understand that Cuba has developed a vaccine, but there's no great mention of that. And why can't, if that's correct, if Cuba has a vaccine on the market, how come the government of St Kitts and Nevis is not supporting Cuba with that? Especially since that Cuba came down and rendered support, medical support when they need it.
Quite
and
so.
also, Cuba has been helping out really much in the Caribbean. And for Cuba to develop a vaccine under these circumstances and with all them embargoes that's on them, I believe they're going to need to be recognized, and they need to get some type of award for that, man.
I would agree with you.
That's going up. That's going up to the level of getting a Nobel Peace Prize, because for Cuba to come up with a vaccine under these type of circumstances to save humanity, which is a healthcare crisis, they need to be recognized, bro. And they need to get some type of award for that. And I can't see how St Kitts and Nevis, the government, is not thinking about spending money with Cuba with getting the vaccine there. You know, they're trying to get vaccine from everywhere else except supporting Cuba, who's right there. That's all I want to contribute for now. I have some more stuff to say, but I'll try to come back later.
But that's a great point you made, but I think it's the guidance of the WHO that the government is following.
Yes.
I won't say can't, but they're not likely to step out of that safety zone where they're giving a part of assistance and they're getting all information and the protocols. I won't say dictated, but directed by the WHO. So until the WHO recognizes that particular vaccine from Cuba and sways to,
I mean, we can't talk to the whys of the government because we're not part of that conversation. It is a question that should be posed because we have a relationship with Cuba. That is a quite a valid question. Why are we not looking at their vaccine? Because they're saying within a year they're going to be able to vaccinate the whole of their population.
Cuba.
Yeah.
That's very, very interesting.
But I don't know. I've not seen any data with regards to the Cuban vaccine.
Question is, where would you go to get the data?
Yeah.
And who because the WHO seems to be the overarching body.
Yeah.
That sort of manages the information and indicates what vaccines should we take, etc. So to step out of that and say, okay, I'm going to put you on hold, WHO, go straight to Cuba, that wouldn't really make a good argument, but it depends at that level on what is accepted. And sometimes that's not the best measure to go by, but we sign on to certain conventions, and that's why we have to follow certain pathways.
But is the Cuban vaccine, is it finished now? Is it ready? Because I was hearing March.
Okay.
That they were going into phase 3.
Okay. Well, the caller, if you can give us more of an insight, if you have more information on that particular issue, it will be helpful for discussion.
Phase 2, I think they had around 1,000 people, and for phase 3, they're looking at quite big numbers, like 100,000 plus, in terms of.
And if that happens, there's no reason why the region shouldn't gravitate towards those.
But there are other factors that prevent that. So I don't know. I'm not
going into the factors.
Yeah.
But here, we're going to pause for a word from our sponsors at this point in time, and then come back. And once again, before we leave, the topic today is to vaccinate or not. Please give us a call and give us your opinion. Thank you. Bye.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.
Honey, I have so much to do. And now I need to go to TDC Home and Building Depot to buy the new fridge.
Samantha, stop worrying. You can purchase the fridge and whatever else you may need with TDC Home and Building Depot's curbside and delivery service.
Really?
Just send your request via WhatsApp or email, pay online, and get your purchase by pickup or delivery.
Wow! I'm going to try TDC curbside and delivery service now.
Terms and conditions apply. Check our social media pages for all the details.
Get ready for an exciting year with Flow Broadband and TV connecting you at home. Sign up now and get a free Samsung tablet worth over $900. Up to 100 megabits per second blazing internet will keep everyone on top of everything every day. While Flow TV delivers the best home entertainment with the latest shows on demand in HD plus favorites you can record. Visit your nearest Flow store today to sign up for Flow Broadband and TV and get your free Samsung tablet. Conditions apply.
Ponche Cuba, Ponche Cuba, the original ponche. Creamy and delicious anytime.
So sensual.
Like us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/ramsupermarket. Follow us on Twitter, www.twitter.com/ramsupermarket. And subscribe to us on YouTube, www.youtube.com/ramsupermarket.
Once again, good morning to our viewers and listeners. Welcome back to Voices. In case you just joined us, we, speaking about my co-host Magaret Stevens and myself, have been discussing the whole issue of virus vaccination, and we have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to Voices.
Good morning.
Good morning. How about that?
Oh, you're giving God thanks, man, for his goodness to me.
That's how we start the day.
Yes, I'm talking about to vaccinate or not to vaccinate.
That is the topic today.
Yes, and interesting, they call the one, they call the...
The other call spoke about Cuba?
Made in relation to Cuba.
Correct.
We don't just do things because we have diplomatic relations with countries, eh? It's like the same thing, you don't just buy something because a black person selling it. You've got to learn to be rational in our decision making.
But he has questions, so maybe you can enlighten him.
The thing is still being tested.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe what you call giving could be the pilot, the testing that is going on. Because I've heard about it. And once it passes, it will become part of the COVAX group.
Correct.
Because in the COVAX group, you're not committed to one thing, you know. Because it is really buying what your money can afford. And the efficacy of it.
Yes, the most ethical.
Yes. So, while I appreciate what he says, we can sometimes we just carry this black thing a little too far. You know? And to vaccinate or not is a personal decision, which has ramifications.
It's a personal decision?
It is. In any case, it's a personal. Would I take it or would I not take it? Well, only in some countries. And I don't even think in China everybody have to. Maybe they do. That's the kind of political system they have. I'm sure in Cuba they have choices.
But,
you know, because all socialist countries are not so regimented where you have to, you know. In many of them, you do have choices. But it is what are the other options? When you don't get it, you have to be prepared for the consequences, good or bad.
Such as?
Are we asking for herd immunity? Then we just go that route and let everybody get it, and who survives, survive. This is one of the options for those who don't want, eh? Because you can get it that way, you know.
Through herd
without
immunity?
this community spread.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And in the States and so, in some areas, by the time you wipe out some of them, there are so many people. So, but then the question becomes, at what cost? Because you have to compare the cost. The cost of taking the vaccine and building up some immunity, or having herd immunity where the weaker ones die.
Yes.
And the stronger ones survive. But some of those who die have skills and capabilities and resources that the country need. Because you can remember, not all old people dying, you know, it used to be so. Now you hear children, you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We're following your logic, yes.
Yes. And what are the side effects? How severe are they? How long-lasting are they? So once you have the information, because a lot of this this kind of QAnon kind of, what you call them? Conspiracy
theories.
It makes black people look stupid. Let me say it like that.
How so?
It makes black people look stupid because when you look to see all kind of white people lining up for it, so I suppose we want to take out ourselves. It may sound a kind of hard, right?
There's a reason for the mistrust, Sister Helen.
Yes, but you got to learn to be rational. All right. If a woman bites you, done with woman, I might bite you again.
Here's a question. Here's a question.
I might bite you again. You know, me, I want a more man, can the man bad. You know what I mean? And then other good men, they pass them.
Yeah.
You got to learn to be rational.
My thing is, though, in Anguilla over the past 2 days, as a matter of fact, on Friday, there was over 125 persons who took the vaccine. How much education, because we're speaking about information that helps to make the right decision. Suppose we get our dosage here in St Kitts and we start to roll out the vaccination. Shouldn't we have some sort of dialogue?
Yes.
Well, aren't we having it?
I'm not sure.
We're having it, you know? We're having conspiracy theory. We're having medical. I mean, we have it. The amount of conspiracy theory this year, I mean, there was some QAnon. Really. All right. I would say, I always say in the beginning, don't rush to get it.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
You look and see, you now have millions of people who are getting it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at the literature. These people have been getting it. What is the extent of the side effects?
Mm-hmm.
But black people are not the stupidest set of people on the earth. They make rational decisions. So, all right, it was designed to take out black people. So now white people taking out themselves?
Well, Latino is also in that demographic. That's
right, so,
highly affected.
The question I ask again, the Caucasian and those people, are they taking out themselves?
Well,
are they getting a different virus component than the one that they would give us?
The debate continues. The debate continues. But here's a question for you. Do you see it coming to a point where they make it mandatory?
I think we need intelligent discussion. Every time I hear this thing about, you're having that chip, and I said to myself, Lord, I make black people look stupid.
Not black people necessarily, because there are lots of Caucasians who have the same mindsets. Lots and lots.
That's why I started by saying to take or not to take is a personal thing.
Well, that's the debate we have today, to take or not to take. Give you
it's a personal thing.
Or not.
But you got to be rational. If I don't take it, I am content. I make up my mind to get it. And hope I survive. That's all. If I take it, I could get it still. You see? Well, all of these, and we need to have rational discussion. This black people thing does annoy me. Because I said, and they're even talking about where they have, I think it's like in New York, where other races come and flocking up the lines in the black area. So even the black people who are supposed to get, or who volunteering to get, can't get.
Okay.
You are looking on Socrates. You ain't asked yourself a question?
Yes, that's why we have the debate today. Let me ask you this question.
Huh?
Do you see it becoming mandatory?
You think it?
Well, globally, yeah.
Well, it's still optional, you know, if they say you can't fly without it, you either take it or you stay.
Choice is still yours.
The choice is still yours.
Because
you got to be that's what I said, you got to be prepared.
The Biden administration is about to implement a no test, no flight policy. And I think that's will be the first stage in saying no vaccine, no flight. Currently it's no test, it's going to be no test, no flight.
So you must have vaccine.
The next stage would be, well, that's a test.
Well, if you don't want it, keep out of the people country. You can't be arguing with them if our government decides today. And it is not even this. I recall that my husband came to St Kitts, 1969. They used to have this little orange book. You remember it?
I don't recall.
You're playing young.
I know.
You know, miss?
No.
You want to pull out the bud paper.
No.
Anyway, from Antigua, in which you had to in the book was entered all the vaccines you got.
What I've had, yes.
Even today, you can't go to some South American and some countries. You know, you can't go to some African countries unless you get your malaria. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's still a matter of choice. You either take it or you bear the consequences.
Yeah, back in the day in traveling, you did have to have that information in the passport that you were vaccinated for. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to give you a little orange book that you had to walk with, and they could turn you back. In some port, they could say, well, boy, you can't come in here, you're bringing in yellow fever. You know? So sometimes I think we over-exaggerate. As I say, it's a choice. You don't want it, don't take it.
Okay.
Just know the cost. Because if the government in the USA say they must be vaccinated to come in, then you either try get in before they implement it.
Or they say all the green card holders, they must take it or leave.
Yeah, I mean, look, I said we got to learn to be rational, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes they give you a time break, right?
Mm-hmm.
You try and get in before they implement it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe if you come out, you can't go back. You know, and you listen here, what is the death rate then?
Yeah, as
the
a result.
people who get it,
Mm-hmm.
are more people dying.
That's the information that I think most people are waiting to
Waiting
see.
for.
We're
Yeah,
waiting.
because right now they're saying that there's less, the hospitalization coming down.
It's coming down.
You hear that, right?
Yes. But
that's not related
But we're not
to the vaccine.
Exactly
It's related to the
Yes, it's related to the vaccine.
No,
it's
it's
not
not.
related, no.
It's not.
No.
The information is not related to the
information
vaccine.
I heard on the thing is that those who receive the vaccine have
No.
less severe effects.
No, I haven't. No, that's what they're proposing.
Mm-hmm.
The vaccine is designed for. What they're proposing is that the type of vaccine it is means that even if you do get COVID-19, the severity of it is
Effect
going to
will
be
be
less.
Less severe.
Yes, so that
Yeah.
means we will see less
Which
people
means
going.
less
Yeah, but
hospitalization
exactly,
time and stuff like that.
But the drop in hospitalization that we are seeing now is
You
not
heard?
is not directly by. It's not because of
So
the
how
vaccine.
do you explain it?
Because people have been locked down again. People have been
the mass.
Yeah,
so more people
are complying with the
America?
original policies.
Yes.
Yeah.
The outbreak like from the
maybe they're
Christmas,
watching this in
Thanksgiving,
the
even last night,
the
with the
Super Bowl.
celebration of the Super Bowl, a lot of people, thousands of people was out in the street without following the protocols. So they anticipate as a result
a spike. Yeah.
But once
They're begging for it.
there you go. So it's
You
not.
know, so that's what I'm telling you. They're looking for herd immunity. When you see people carrying on like that, they're hoping that somebody else get it and die, not them. But you got to, that is, so if you're in the crowd, if you decide to be part of that, you are volunteering yourself to be sacrificed. It sounds cruel, but it's a fact. Because you may go in the negative. It's winter.
And
If
come out
you're going
positive,
on, everybody
yeah.
coughing and sneezing. You don't know who has it. So when you take those I call it reckless.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, what is the relationship between, I want to change the thing, the Football Association and the NEOC? I heard on one radio station that the football, what's the name? The association said they cancel the football season cancel.
This is no information.
I haven't heard that.
Not on the news.
Okay.
But I agree with the NEOC. Who don't like it too bad. I mean, to me, the behavior was reckless.
I know in this
last season.
Yeah.
The behavior was reckless. I mean, they were told when they say everybody 150, they were given a quota of 250, which I heard on the radio.
Okay.
And I heard people saying they saw nearly 1,000 people in there. When there's one way in, I didn't hear anybody say they were jumping the fence.
Wow.
And on different matches, the crowd far exceeded the quota they were given.
Okay.
When everybody was told 100, 150, and you give them 100 extra. And I mean,
And they violated those standards?
standard. They should have been charged. But you see, when you don't take action, it will happen again.
I've heard
Because I
people
would say,
speak
if
about
they
the...
want to have football this year, right?
Yes.
Any OC should have somebody manning that entrance.
Yeah.
Because if they had, because everybody could have seen, in St Kitts with like the phone, they couldn't deny it.
I see.
People were showing this massive crowd in the park.
Okay.
And the policemen, and you see, if they had stopped it, you'd hear the politics. Because, we're not rational, eh? Oh, they went in there and they stopped the game. In Dominica, they canceled it. In another country, they canceled it. Now, we would have said that was brutal. So if the members of the Football Association are upset, WINN, we agree with NEOC, you have to be willing to compromise. If you want to have your matches, allow them to man your gate.
Yeah. I mean, I think people have to take responsibility because the Australian Open, that's open now today. And they've done everything possible.
They were shut down for a long time. They had the longest shutdown too.
And there's some, you know what I mean?
But they've done a lot of planning. They've sold the tickets for the events. They have separate entrances.
3 sections, yeah.
Yes. So they've really done a lot of planning to make sure that to minimize the spread, including, the social distancing and mask wearing and sanitation and the seating as well. I don't see why we can't do that here, dictate where people sit.
Did you see the videos of the crowd?
No, I didn't.
Socrates just saw them, right?
I did, yes. You mean that in
the final 6?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't see, but when I hear him say there are nearly 1,000 people, I say, well, that's
Wow.
madness, man. If you buy the gate, you must know when 250 pass in.
So this was at Warner Park?
Warner Park.
Well,
And
then,
the people
in
who
that
went in,
case...
they weren't even nice enough to space out themselves. The excitement, when you get excited, eh?
Yes.
And your team scoring, you forget.
In that case, in terms of what's required, they have themselves only to blame.
Yeah.
Because during the carnival, we were given some very strict instructions. We had to follow them.
Mm-hmm.
In the big shows, they had to be virtual. I couldn't even take a guess. They said no +1. They were very, 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 very
Yeah,
strict.
I mean, no, if they had 50 over, you could say, well, only 50. But when you buy nearly 1,000 people, you say that's madness, man.
Yeah.
That's blatant disrespect. So if they really want to go and outright cancel it without coming to a compromise, to me, it's out of order.
Well, the outcry and the pushback will make for interesting debate, but that's the way it is. But
yeah. So they better go immunize all of them.
Here's a question. Would you advocate for the vaccination?
I don't have to advocate, say it's a personal thing, eh?
Okay.
I believe you should, but I am not going to tell anybody go.
Exactly what you do.
I will go.
The question remains...
You notice who going? The 99, You will say, well, they only got one more to go. The 80 and the 90. And they're standing up 4 hours in a line. Well, Lord, for heaven's sake, you ain't got no sense. If they number don't pass, because they don't pass 80.
70.
90-something else in the line.
The past 3 score 10.
Well, if they've reached that age, they probably still work for them to do, so...
Yeah, so if you... I said we got to be rational. If you see all these old people making sure that they get it, going in this cold weather and standing up in line or sitting down in the chair, or on the walker, or in the wheelchair, you ain't say, and then you have not heard that there was any outbreak of anything to kill them off.
Perhaps because they're told that they're the most susceptible to the virus.
Yes.
They don't have to be told, The stats there.
So they take it more seriously.
Yeah.
Because at one point the thinking was it doesn't affect young people.
Exactly.
All of those are going to come with that thing, you got me that chip. Well, there's a lot of chip they have, the chip in the world. If you're afraid of chip, give your heart to the Lord. Get your soul in order. Prepare to meet your maker.
You're a classic.
No, it's true. If you're really that frightened, go and give your heart to the Lord. So your destination sure.
Okay.
Whether you vaccine or no vaccine, we all have to leave here.
Mm-hmm.
But I know the conspiracy theorists will come Oh, what they said happened in the past is true.
Over
If
50
you
million
observe
who
that-
died during it was the Ebola breakup, not Ebola.
No.
The bubonic.
Bubonic plague.
Over 50
Yeah,
million.
I mean, what they say, I am not discounting what they say, only that they are projecting the past into the present. It's like people say, well, you are a slave, so you are a slave today. That's foolishness. You know? Everything happened in the past does not project into today. Otherwise, black people would not have progressed from where they were to where they are today. All right, then.
Okay.
I'll hang up so that
Tremendous
the
contribution.
objectives will come in.
Thank you for your contribution.
St. Lucia recorded 257 new cases of COVID-19. Total active cases now at 920.
Okay.
That's scary.
You know, I think St. Lucia have similar problems to Antigua, that they're allowing people in. People aren't following the protocols for the island. They're doing as they please, and nobody's stopping them.
So the same can be said about the Football Association and that crowd. And so now that the NEOC is cracking down.
Exactly, because I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. That's it. I would need to know what is our next step. What is our future plan in terms of bringing back. I can't.
And we go straight to the line for this caller. Caller, good morning, 11 Voices.
Hello.
Yes, sir, how about that?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sago.
Yes,
And
champion.
lady, one thing I know, kid is unfair to death.
This is one of our champion boxers from yesterday, Hunks, fighting Hunks.
You know, we're from that race. Remember the race we used to live to 700?
Yeah.
That's where we want to go to, 700. For 8, we want to break the record to 900 now.
You say we're afraid of that?
If you go doctor, the doctor tell you, will buy you, you know. Maybe mind you will reach back home. You don't go home, you know. You say long tongue, you say, well, maybe I go home, the doctor say, we'll go home and then.
Hunks.
We ain't want dead. You say, fella, you're not going to the boxing ring? Eh?
Tell us stay down.
The fella will knock him out in the corner fight, yeah.
Why?
Fight him on the fella who on the ground.
Why is that?
And the fella on the ground, he on the ground. But the fella who stand up on the ring, but whatever kill a man, boy.
Really?
So you want to kill nobody. So you don't harm you.
The question, Hunks, to vaccinate or not to vaccinate? Where do you stand?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
What did I say?
The question is, to vaccinate or not to vaccinate, where do you stand?
I'm going to take mine.
You're taking yours? All right.
I'm taking mine.
Okay.
How many times I hear say, well, why don't bring mine by me? I'm one of the person who prepare myself.
We're going to have to run a poll.
Yeah. You know I want to die.
We've had 2 callers this morning, you and Sister Henry, and you're in favor of the vaccination.
Yes.
You know how I want to die. Jago. D.
Well, yes, go ahead.
I want to die. Knowing I'm going to die tonight.
Oh.
I want dead boy and I can't knock me down. And I fall to sea. I want to lay down on my bed, go sleep, and then wake up. That's how I want to die.
Okay.
Go sleep and then wake up.
Okay.
That's
I want
it.
dead boy and I can't knock me down. I'll get poison or nothing.
You want to know?
And I asked the maker to grant me that favor.
Okay.
I asked the maker to grant me that favor.
Okay.
Okay, fighting Hunks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Before I say, let me do it now. I want to say good morning to Amber because I expect a call from Anguilla to speak about a gentleman who took the vaccine.
Okay.
One calling, so I'm standing by for a call from Amber in Anguilla. There's Brenda up there in Charlottesville. There's Peter Nganjui at the Development Bank. There's Dr. Sweeney. There's New York Joe. There's Avril. There's Chris Collins up there in Sheffield. And there's DJ Morris. So good morning. It's not past 12 as yet. But quick story, a gentleman died about 2 weeks ago. And he was 100 years old.
Okay.
He was in hospice, you know.
Yes.
I inquired from his son about a week ago. I said, you didn't tell me. I mean, he's my neighbor, etc. He says, anyway, we spoke. He says, there was nothing wrong with him.
Okay.
He told them he's made 100. He wants to go.
Okay.
He stopped eating, stopped drinking, stopped telling doctors, I want to go. I have made 100.
It's my time.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, so you call him 100 not out. We say. So, Hunks, if you make 100, I understand what you're saying. You want to know. This gentleman said, okay, I've made 100. Want to go listen his caller quickly before we pause for the midday newscast. Quickly, you have 2 minutes, sir? Sorry.
Fraternal and perfect love greetings. Yes, we'll be quick.
Yes.
Concerning the topic that you're on.
Yes. Vasila X.
Yes, I. You thank my brother.
Yes, I.
For taking the call. Everybody know what they're going to do concerning the vaccine, you know. Everybody, you see, look how you get 2 callers who say that them are going to take the vaccine, right? Everybody, including myself, know whether them are going to take it, yes or not.
Okay.
So, I guess, you know, no way, you know. No way, everyone free. And I use the word everyone free because it is not a must.
Yeah, as yet.
Well, it is not a must, but it is a must diplomatically. Because all my family just echo it. If you don't want the people in country, if you don't want this, if you don't want that means blah blah. So you see what they work on people.
Yep.
No, that is not fair. But we will see how that sorts out as times go on. The hour is here, so we'll give you the break. Blessed now.
Respect was X every time. So we got about 45 seconds to go up to the pause for the midday newscast. I'll let Magaret Stevens take that time and take us out to news time. Go ahead.
You know, like I said, I mean, I agree with Miss Henry. It's a personal choice, and people are going to have to decide for themselves based on the information whether or not they're going to take it. And I think that's the way it should be.
What about you? On that note, we're going to pause for the midday newscast and get back to you with the other half of Voices. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for the callers. We'll be right back with you after the midday newscast.
Found the sound, 98.9.
We now bring you the WINN FM Headline News. The WINN FM Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, Carib Brewery, CNC Trading.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, DeLille Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Kittishan Hill, a resort located at Belmont Farm, which is set among 400 acres of organic farmland and the lush forests at the foothills of Mount Lyamega in St. Paul's, is offering a staycation for citizens and residents living on St. Kitts and on Nevis. Director of the National Emergency Operations Center, Abdias Samuel, informed the Cabinet that Kittishan Hill has approved for staycation, according to a press release from the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service. A staycation is defined as a vacation spent in one's home country rather than abroad, or one spent at home and involving day trips to local attractions. Kittishan Hill is not offering a vacation in place for international travelers, as was stated in the post-cabinet briefing of Monday, February 1st, 2021, SKNIS noted. Two young men organized a protest at the Queen's Park Savannah Sunday, February 7th, as the country continued to react to the kidnapping and murder of Andrea Barat, according to a report in the Trinidad Guardian newspaper. Since her body was found on Thursday, February 4th, citizens from all across the country have been finding ways to honor her legacy as well as press for change in the way women are treated and laws to prevent more women from suffering a similar fate. On Sunday, numerous rallies, protests, and motorcades were held, the Guardian reported. Hundreds of protesters gathered at the Queen's Park Savannah on Sunday called for the legislation of non-lethal weapons for women as well as stricter legislation for rapists and kidnappers. The protesters began gathering at 3 p.m. armed with placards to register their discontent with the treatment of women and girls in Trinidad and Tobago. Kevin Stout made a great start to the CG Insurance Super 50 Cup with a man-of-the-match performance of 86 runs off 95 balls as the Windward Islands Volcanoes beat Leeward Islands Hurricanes in Match 1 at the Coolidge Cricket Ground on Sunday, February 7th. Captain Sunil Ambris hit 70 off 86 deliveries, while Emmanuel Stewart supported with 27 off 29 balls as they shared two critical partnerships with Stout. In the Leeward's reply, Nitish Kumar's superb 100 was not enough as the home side fell 31 runs short of the target. He made 112 off 106 balls with 9 fours and 2 sixes, but was one of 5 wickets to fall for 27 runs as they were bowled out for 253 in the 48th over. Next match, Guyana Jaguars versus Barbados Pride on Monday at CCG. First ball, 1:30 p.m. You are listening to the headline news on WINN. This report from Barbados Today.
Barbados will receive 100,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine sometime this week. The updates from co-coordinator of the National COVID-19 Vaccination Campaign, Dr. Elizabeth Ferdinand. During a press conference last night on the topic Barbados and the COVID-19 vaccine, Dr. Ferdinand also revealed that a national operation plan is being developed to look at, among other things, where the doses are going to be administered and the teams that will be responsible for doing so.
Right now, our senior health sisters in each of the 9 polyclinics will be the person in charge of each team, and under them they will have other teams. So among that, and looking after little things like syringes and needles and PEPs and that type of thing. Well, we're hoping to have about 30 teams, and each team has about 8 or 9 people in it. So do your mathematics. My brain is a little rusty from that. But so that's 300, 250 people in teams operating out of each of the 9 polyclinics.
What vaccine are we getting?
We are getting an AstraZeneca vaccine. And we're supposed to be getting 100,000 doses.
Frontline workers at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital will be given priority whenever the AstraZeneca vaccine becomes available. Word of this from the QEH's Executive Chairman, Juliet Bino Sutherland, who tells Barbados Today the Ministry of Health and Wellness has not disclosed to hospital officials when the vaccines will arrive on island. But she says plans are being put in place to facilitate the rollout.
We believe we can comfortably immunize the hospital staff over a period of 7 days, and we have developed a tentative schedule of departments, focusing, of course, first on staff members in the isolation centers, accident and emergency room, emergency ambulance service, all of our clinical departments across the length and breadth of the hospital, radiology, radiotherapy. I can go on. Our medicine, surgery. What we will have at the tail end will be persons like myself who are administrative, purely administrative in nature and not patient-facing. So what we've done is a prioritization where we focus first on our frontline workers.
Bino Sutherland says that the hospital's auditorium is currently being set up and preparations are well underway.
We're focusing on 2 things: the logistics of giving vaccines to, at a maximum, 2,367 employees, and we're also using this time to raise awareness and sensitize staff members to the, provide them more information.
The United Kingdom government will be covering all expenses associated with any negative side effects suffered by BVI residents who opted to take the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. This is according to the acting chief medical officer, Dr. Ronald Georges, who made the disclosure during a recent interview with JTV News. Dr. Georges said that under the present vaccine procurement agreement between the UK and the BVI government, the UK has agreed to cover all medical expenses that stem from any side effects linked to taking the vaccine. Quote, "In delivering the vaccines to us, the UK has looked at some of these issues. So there is an indemnification that the UK government is providing for these types of issues. What that is that they are looking at the potential for risk and the UK, are covering it, because those are some of the conditions under which the vaccine is procured and is also being distributed," Dr. Georges explained.
This is the Caribbean Update News Service. I am Wendy Chateau reporting. Haiti's president announces arrest of 20 people whom he accused of trying to stage a coup and have him killed, though opponents immediately throw cold water on the claim. This is the big story we're tracking this hour on Monday, January 8th, 2021. Details of this story and more straight ahead. Now for the details. Haitian President Jovenel Moïse says that police have arrested more than 20 people he accused of trying to kill him and overthrow his government, including a Supreme Court judge who has the support of opposition leaders demanding that Moïse step down. Moïse spoke at Haiti's airport in Port-au-Prince, flanked by the country's prime minister and the police chief, as he prepared to leave for the southern coastal town of Jacmel for the opening ceremony of its yearly carnival, which is being held amid the pandemic. Moïse said the alleged plot began on November 20, but did not provide further details or any evidence, except to say among the people arrested is a judge and an inspector general with the police. Moïse then said other high-ranking officials would provide more information, but they all walked away and did not speak further to reporters. Renal George, an attorney who once worked as a consultant for Moise's administration but has since joined the opposition, denounced the arrests in an interview with radio station Zenith FM. George also called on people to rise up against Moise. Also arrested was Police General Inspector Antoinette Gauthier, according to a statement from the Young Bar Association of Port-au-Prince, which accused Moise's administration of sowing terror and said Sunday's actions should not be tolerated. The arrests come on the day that opposition leaders claim Moise should resign, saying that his term ends on Sunday. Moise has repeatedly stated that his 5-year term ends in February 2022. A former Grenada Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister Elvin Nimrod has died. Family sources say Nimrod, who retired just before the last general elections nearly 3 years ago, was ailing for some time and died at a hospice in the United States. The exact cause of death was not immediately known. Kendra Mathurin Stewart, the new politician who replaced him as MP in Carriacou, hailed Nimrod as a mentor and the main supporter for her entry into politics. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell hailed his former deputy during an Independence Day address Sunday. The statement by the Prime Minister came more than 24 hours after the death of his former deputy. Opposition spokesperson Claudette Joseph hailed Nimrod as a professional who was a cordial and understanding Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General who loved his country. Joseph had served as Deputy Registrar of the Supreme Court when he was Attorney General. Grenada's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell has said he wants to create what he called a voluntary social fund that will be used to help the most vulnerable. In an address Sunday to mark the country's 47th independence anniversary, Dr. Mitchell admitted that an increasing number of Grenadians are hurting amidst the raging global pandemic. The Grenadian leader said he will appeal to every working Grenadian to contribute. Prime Minister Mitchell said an independent committee will be set up to decide on who will be assisted with the funds. While there was the traditional military parade, Grenada observed independence without large gatherings because of the pandemic. This is Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service. In more news, Barbados will be ready to roll out the first batch of the AstraZeneca vaccine late this month. Coordinator of the National COVID-19 Vaccination Campaign, Dr. Elizabeth Ferdinand, informed the country last night that the first vaccines would arrive later this week. Meantime, head of the Barbados COVID-19 Monitoring Unit, Reynold Champan, and his team shut down 4 parties Sunday as the fight continues against coronavirus. The announcement was made by the head of the COVID-19 Communications Unit, Ambassador Lisa Thompson, during the nationally televised press conference at Lara Court. Barbados is in the middle of a 2-week shutdown. In sports, head coach Phil Simmons has pointed to a culture change taking place in the West Indies Test setup, which is being driven by the arrival of new players with improved attitudes and the character necessary to excel in the international arena. Speaking moments after West Indies completed the 5th highest run chase in history to stun Bangladesh by 3 wickets in the opening test, Simmons praised the side's inexperienced players for the commitment shown in recent tests. Kyle Myers struck an astonishing unbeaten 210 and fellow debutant Nkrumah Bonner stroked 86, the pair putting on 216 for the 4th wicket to spearhead the successful chase of 395 at Chattogram in Bangladesh. Selectors were forced to include 4 uncapped players in the 15-man squad after 6 first-choice players, which represented the core of the batting group, opted out of the tour for various reasons. This has been another edition of Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service, the Caribbean's newsroom. Reporting this hour, I am Wendy Chateau.
And now this report from NPR News.
Live from NPR News, I'm Corva Coleman. More COVID-19 vaccination sites are up and running in the U.S. About 32 million people have had at least one dose so far, but there are still bottlenecks in supply, and people eligible for vaccines still aren't getting them. NPR's Allison Aubrey reports U.S. health experts are not recommending that states release the reserve of second doses of COVID vaccinations for people who still need their first shots.
Now, there had been talk of changing the strategy to give the shot to more people faster by holding off on the second dose. That would stretch out supplies. But over the weekend, Dr. Anthony Fauci really, threw cold water on this idea. He says there is just not enough data to support this strategy.
NPR's Allison Aubrey reporting. South Africa is suspending the use of the COVID vaccine made by AstraZeneca. That is not available in the United States. A small study showed that it was not very effective at preventing mild or moderate disease in patients with the South African variant of the coronavirus.
This is the BBC News 5-Minute Report.
Coming up after the news on the BBC World Service, it's Hard Talk with me, Stephen Sacker. US-China relations will do much to shape the geopolitics of the 21st century, and it feels like the risk of long-term confrontation, even military conflict, is rising. From trade to Taiwan, the Trump administration talked tough on China, and an increasingly assertive Beijing responded in kind. Well, my guest is Evan Medeiros, President Obama's top advisor on the Asia-Pacific region. Is President Biden ready to break with his own past and take on China?
I think part of the Biden strategy is going to have to be aware of deterring China from moving toward greater military coercion of Taiwan, which has been happening in the last year. And I hope that that's part of their strategy.
That's Evan Medeiros on Hard Talk after the news.
Hello, I'm Debbie Russ with the BBC News. Myanmar's military ruler, General Min Aung Hlaing, has addressed the nation for the first time since the army seized power last week. Our Asia-Pacific editor, Michael Bristow, has been following developments.
In a televised speech, the general tried persuasion rather than threats. He sought to justify the army's coup, saying civilian leaders had failed to hold a proper election last November. He said the COVID pandemic was used to stop fair campaigning. But the majority in Myanmar appear to believe the army is in the wrong. On Monday, tens of thousands demonstrated against its seizure of power. The military has warned protesters not to destabilise the country. It's imposed a curfew in Mandalay and a ban on gatherings. Other areas are reporting similar restrictions.
Emergency workers in the North Indian state of Uttarakhand are searching for as many as 200 people still missing after a devastating flood swept down a valley on Sunday. 18 bodies have been recovered. Here's Jill McGivering.
Indian troops are using mechanical diggers in the struggle to move tons of mud, slush and rocks and search for survivors. The rescue effort is focused on several sites, including a tunnel more than 200 metres long. More than 30 people were apparently trapped inside when the torrent of icy water swept down the valley, carrying rocks and earth as it gathered speed. There's been no contact with them since. The rescue team has hoped to clear the tunnel by nightfall. Elsewhere, relief helicopters are dropping food to villagers stranded after roads and bridges were washed away.
The Netherlands have suspended all adoptions from abroad with immediate effect after an investigation found structural abuses in the system. The Minister for Legal Protection said the Dutch government had failed for years to intervene in suspected cases of abuse. An investigative committee found evidence of women being coerced to give up their children because of their poverty, as well as the use of false documents. There have been international calls for Somalia's divided political leaders to resume talks urgently so that elections can take place as soon as possible. A deadline to hold a vote has now passed, and opposition leaders have said they no longer recognise the country's president, Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo. Here's Will Ross.
A UN statement on behalf of many of Somalia's international backers said there was only one way out of the crisis: to resume negotiations and hold elections. The United States issued a similar message, but the statement also said the political gridlock was part of the reason why there'd been so little progress against the Islamist militants and why so many Somalis didn't have enough food to eat. It urged leaders to act in the interests of the people of Somalia. These calls carry clout as the government relies on international support to pay state salaries and to provide the peacekeeping force that's fighting al-Shabaab.
Will Ross reporting. You're listening to the World News from the BBC. At least 26 Syrian government soldiers and allied militiamen are reported to have been killed in an Islamic State group ambush. The British-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the attack targeted a convoy in the eastern province of Deir ez-Zor. It was the latest in a series of such incidents. IS was driven out of all the towns and cities it held in northern Syria more than 2 years ago. The head of Nigeria's Navy has said new measures are being put in place to ensure that personnel who collude with kidnappers and criminals operating off the coast are caught and punished. Many attacks on vessels in the Gulf of Guinea are carried out by armed gangs that operate out of creeks in the Niger Delta. The disgraced former treasurer of the People's Party in Spain has gone on trial in another corruption case. It could further embarrass the country's mainstream conservatives, as our correspondent in Madrid, Guy Hedgecoe, reports.
Luis Bárcenas has long been a thorn in the side of the Popular Party, having previously leaked documents which seem to implicate senior party figures in corrupt practices. He's already serving a jail sentence for corruption, but it's the political repercussions of this trial which could be explosive. The former Prime Ministers, José María Aznar and Mariano Rajoy, are both due to testify in the coming weeks. The Popular Party's current leadership insists that this case is about the past, but it's clearly concerned that Mr Bárcenas will once again tarnish its reputation.
The price of Bitcoin has increased by more than 10% after the electric car manufacturer Tesla said it had invested $1.5 billion in the digital currency last month. Following the announcement, Bitcoin jumped to a record $44,000. It's now up about 50% since the beginning of the year. The value of other cryptocurrencies has also increased. BBC News.
That was the WINNFM Headline News, brought to you by KDP Enterprises, Caribbean Alliance, Carrie Brewery, CNC Trading, The Grange.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs. And make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WINN FM.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Voices. For those of you that don't already know, you can contact us by calling 466 0989, 662 0989 or 762 0989. For those of you in the States, 718265 6984 or 508 921 4619. And for those of you in the UK, it's 0333 04 40065. So we've been talking about to vaccine or not to vaccine.
To vaccinate or not
Yes,
to vaccinate.
oh my gosh. Where was I just then?
Yeah, I'm Socrates, and you're listening to Magaret, our host of today's episode of Voices. It's the 8th of February. And we've called already?
You've called, yes.
It must be your magnetism. Call your live on Voices. Go right ahead. Will they call your live on Voices? First call after lunch.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good, and you?
Long time to hear your voice, so go right ahead.
All right. Please,
Mm-hmm.
I would like you to bear with me.
We shall try
I
our best.
don't really intend to take too much time, but please bear with me. Now, I tuned in at a specific time in the morning, and I heard the elder sister was speaking at around that time.
Okay.
And again, today, it seems like the focus is on COVID.
Yes.
Yes, the whole vaccine issue.
Okay. Let me say this. And what I'm about to say is in two parts. But let me say this. You and I and so many of us have been vaccinated when we were growing up. Right? We were vaccinated against the polio,
Measles,
mumps,
mm-hmm.
you name it. And if I'm wrong, I stand to be corrected. But to the best of my knowledge, I have never, ever heard any one of us who has been vaccinated against all of these, what they call childhood diseases and so on. We have never, ever gotten polio, mumps, measles after the vaccine. Am I correct?
Correct.
As far as yes, my collection serves.
Good. Now, we have something that is called COVID. And we are now told that you take the vaccine, you get vaccination. There is no guarantee that you will not get COVID. They're telling you that this thing is mutating, yet they have a vaccine for you. Depending on which kind, they're not saying that you have to get a second or a third shot. Now, you hear people talking about this thing is going to be mandatory, right? It may not be explicit, but it might be implied.
Mm-hmm.
All right? My thing is this. Right now, they're telling us we have to wear a mask, we have to sanitize, we have to social distance. Right? This is what they say offer the best protection against the COVID. Now, if the vaccine is not going to protect someone from getting the COVID, right? Doesn't this mean that persons are still expected, after vaccination, they're still expected to wear the mask, hand sanitize,
quarantine,
social distance? Am I correct?
Yes. That is correct.
Yes.
Right. Because they say that the vaccine, what it is going to do is to lessen the symptoms, whatever those are. Right? Now, to me, this does not make no sense in the way that making sense is intended. Now, I'm going to go into the core of what I am about to say. I want you to listen. Now, you might say this is another conspiracy theory.
So far, we're in agreement.
Okay.
So far, we're on the same page because I'm reading some data that supports what you're saying. So go ahead.
Right. Some may say this is another conspiracy theory. Some might say it because maybe out of fear. Now, there is a person and his spouse who are well known in the field of computer technology. Correct? I don't have to call a name. I guess you know who I'm referring to, right?
I sang about him.
All right. Well versed in computer technology. Okay? Now we realize that this couple is very much prominent or in the forefront of all things medicine. Now, as far as we're concerned, no one knows this person or persons to have studied anything in terms of medicine or anything like that. Nobody knows if they have any qualification, if they had changed their what should I say, their passion, which is technological, whatever. But here we have two in the forefront, advancing medicine. And up to this point, correct me if I'm wrong, no one has ever come out and questioned their credibility. Everybody is taking what is said from them as though it is the medical gospel. I don't hear no doctors come out saying anything, even in our quarters here. Nobody, but everything they say, people hold on it, hook, line, and sinker. So we have technology and we have medicine, very prominent in the advancement of medicine. I see someone ask the male a question, and he was floundering and flustering and stuttering all over because he could not answer. But nonetheless, we have technology and we have medicine. Okay? I'm going to show you the link between the two of them. Now, let me go to the Bible. And this is not a discussion as to whether people believe it or not. Meaning that, because something about it is true. Now, the Bible tells us in the time when the Antichrist arrives on the scene, okay? There is going to be, is coming the time when no one will be able to hide from him. Wherever you go, you will be found.
Tracking mechanism.
Will be picked up. Sorry?
Tracking mechanism.
Okay. Now that brings me now to the connection between technology and medicine. Computers and all of these gadgets, they operate off of electricity.
Chips.
The flesh and blood, as what we call mankind, some may say human, their body operate off of electrical impulses. Now, the connection between the two is a chip. So we have the union of technology. You have a lot of money over here, and we have medicine on this side. So we have the two now coming together, working in unison to accomplish one purpose. You can't hide. It means that you have to have a chip inside of you.
Unless you go off the grid.
I'm talking Bible. I am speaking Bible. Elder sister, I'm speaking Bible.
I'm listening.
Yes, okay? The chip. Now, you hear about AI, which is artificial intelligence. They have done quite a bit with that. But you see, robots have their limitation. They are automated, you see, and they can perform certain functions up to a certain point, but they can never ever take the place of flesh and blood, what we call mankind, or some will say humankind. So the perfect test that is left to be accomplished is to have an automated man. All right?
Yes.
Flesh and blood man. Now, when the chip goes into you, you see all of these towers that they have around, these microwave towers, they are there for a purpose. You see those satellites in space?
Transmitters.
They are there for a purpose. That chip will be connected to a master computer. All right? And when the time is ready, if they want an army to go to fight, all they have to do is activate that. Go on the computer and activate that chip. You will have walking zombies. You have no control over yourself at that moment. You kill, you murder, you don't know. And when it is turned off, you come back to yourself, you don't know. You don't know what happened and so on. Okay? This is what I am seeing. But like I said, this is me. I'm not speaking for anybody to take what I said. This is how I see it.
Because the reaction would be that is really extreme.
Okay. Right? But don't put it far. Right?
I know.
This is what is going to happen. Robots cannot do this. They cannot do that. Drones cannot do that. So the perfect animated robot will be human. All right? So that chip is going to be multi-purpose. It's going to have many functions. Now, you hear some people talk about when they went to do the test. They push this swap all the way up like they're going into the brain. It is for a reason. Because if you're telling me if I cough and I sneeze, the droplets contain the COVID, how is it when I go for the test you don't take a just swap? Or you don't test my saliva? Why are you pushing that something all the way up in the brain? Now, that again is for that again raises questions.
I read this for the purpose of inserting something up there seriously. I read it 2-3 years ago. But it's a question that people can, try to find answers to. So go ahead.
Yes. All right. So this is what we have here. Now you hear people talk about, well, I heard elder sister talk about, we need to be logical and all that sort of thing. But you see, the Bible tells us God uses the simple things of this world to confound the wise. So when my elder sister talk about people needing to be logical and all of what is going on, maybe the logic is in what is said from what people perceive to be coming from the simple-minded. Maybe the logic is in all of what they're saying is conspiracy theory. Right?
We know you're not simple-minded.
Sorry?
We know you're not simple-minded.
Now, the Bible also says we must not underestimate the wiles of the devil. Meaning, do not underestimate his strategies. He's very strategic. Now, does that mean what is given out right now here, what they call the vaccine? Because remember, the focus is not no COVID, It ain't no cold, no flu, no high fever, It is the vaccine. That's why they're keeping this COVID talk alive. It is the vaccine. That is the ultimatum.
We're going to ask you to wrap up if we can because we have some other callers online.
Okay, sorry. Right. So let me wrap up. So does that mean that whatever is intended might be in? No. And I heard my elder sister talk about, what about the Caucasians who take it? The thing about it is, do you know what they're giving them? No. We might feel like, everybody's getting the same thing. Do you think so? Listen, we ain't making no vaccine for ourselves. We ain't doing no research. Now, if you have a neighbor and the neighbor don't agree with you or don't love you, you're not going to eat from the neighbor. You don't take nothing from the neighbor because you think that that's your enemy. The enemy is going to cause you harm. So I don't understand why, we're not doing anything for ourselves and we're accepting all of these things as though they are pure and honest and all of this and all. You understand?
Yeah.
This is our problem. And finally, I believe this is the test run, just to see how people would respond.
Are compliant with, yeah, we are. We're willing to be,
Right.
become.
I believe the real thing is coming behind, and it's going to be such that people might beg for this vaccination, and therein is where the chip might be. And as far as this vaccine goes, when people talking about, you heard just the other day, maybe about 2 days ago, this lady, a pastor lady in Virginia, took one of the vaccines shortly after she fell sick and she died.
Yes.
That was a black woman. So a lot of people feel like everybody getting the same thing. I don't think so. But if that's how you believe it, that's how you see it, it's up to you. But I don't believe so. You understand? Because the Bible also talk about persons are going to die from famine, pestilence, war, and all of this. The pestilence and vaccine and all of that. A lot of people, you're going to get many minor more. You might die from it, you might live. Because all of this, oh no, but nothing happened. But you can't use the vaccine. Look, I didn't die, look, it didn't die, but you didn't know. Many minor more. But anyway, I'll study for the time being.
All right, thank you very much. The times we take a call on the one is on the lines and we allow the caller to continue. So for those who try to get in at the time, we apologize, but sometimes nobody is on the line. So, and that was a very valuable contribution. So we apologize for those who try to get in at the time we can get in. What do you think? What's your response or reaction to contribution?
I've heard this a lot.
Okay, caller 11 voices. Could I call 11 voices? Hello? Okay. Please try again. Go ahead.
I've heard it a lot. And again, people saying it's conspiracy theory. But yeah, when you look at it purely on face value and you look at the Bible, yeah, it's plausible. And then, they always say that, the movies sort of imitate what's already happened.
Yeah, imitating life.
Yeah, we've seen all those movies about pandemics. We've seen movies about...
It's a condition, you. I could call 11 voices.
Hi, Socrates.
Speaking, go ahead.
Yes, it doesn't mean that because you don't have a caller that you have to let someone talk for 10 to 15 minutes. You and someone else is in the studio and you all can have a discussion. So I don't see that you have to just continue letting somebody talk and talk and talk. You're in the studio for you to give us information and for you to have a discussion as well. Now, as I look at what you all are talking about, and a lot of what this lady said, I may not be as bright as any of you, but my thing is, it sounds like we delve into a lot of conspiracy theories and a lot of what could be and biblical stuff and so on, and you all are not realizing that people are actually dying. So if you want, she talked about mumps and measles and so on, vaccines and nobody getting sick. Who said there have not been people who have had adverse reactions against those same vaccines? There are people who do not want to take those vaccines either. Okay, and there are boosters for vaccines as well. So we know you can take tetanus and you have to take another one how many years later and so on. When I had to go and get some vaccines recently, I had to go for boosters. You understand? So this isn't something new. Some of these vaccines took about 13 years to be made. Does it mean that we have to wait 13 years while this thing for us to get this vaccine, and so that you all could actually trust the vaccine? I mean, we have to be real. What is this thing about black people and white people? There are so many people in the U.S. You think people are going to be putting vaccines in different containers so that they will know, give that to a black person, give that to a white person, give this to an Indian person? This is just a lot of ridiculous nonsense that is being spewed. I'm very sorry. But it irritates me to listen to such garbage being put out on the media. Thank you.
Yes, caller. It is actually called Voices, where your opinions we ask for your opinion, you give your opinion, if you etc., we discuss it.
Yeah.
And I think there is a need for this public debate, whether you agree or not. Now, you may have a point with the person speaking too long, but at the times I indicated, chap, is there someone on the other line? If there's none, and okay, we have a caller. Right? Caller 11 voices, go ahead.
Good afternoon, King.
Yes, Ranger, what's up?
How are you doing?
Not too bad.
Well, see, concerning that matter that between the first caller and the second to last caller, I will just say that you're the host. I will not school you as to where to draw the line and how to. But what I will say is this, is that maybe you should use the term after one finished their statement. If they have no scientific proof, if they have no experience in terms of what they have been speaking to, you can use what you call a disclaimer by saying everyone is entitled to their opinion, and their opinion doesn't necessarily mean that it's facts and it's being proven in our experience. And so people
She did say it was her opinion. She did say it was opinion, and she did ask for time. She did ask for time to make a point.
But yes, but an opinion, people must actually know that an opinion is only an opinion. It's not being factually proven. There's no proof. And so at the same time, what works for you does not work for me.
I understand
We are different. And so sometimes you have what you call a general term. We know that gasoline works in everybody's car, and everybody use car. The gasoline don't pick out what your car look like or not, but it runs the car. And so therefore, we might have something like a similar, like the vaccine. But for me also who's saying this, it's only an opinion. So let's not get vexed and say the person might be speaking nonsense and so on, because in my opinion, some facts in some nonsense, and we might think it's foolish, but there's something in everything. Something is everything. We don't know it all. And so we talk about things that we know to see if we could feel out or pull out somebody else who might have the facts and the evidence that we don't know. I normally say that I know enough to know that I don't know enough. And if we take it in those positions and those tribes, we are ready to learn. But the time, effort, we need to give to somebody else. So, like the lady say, don't keep someone on too long, which you have a point, and I'll say correct. But so I'll say thanks very much for the program. Interesting. Have a nice day. Continue.
No, where you going? You're going too quick. Are you there?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
To vaccinate or not? To vaccinate.
Well, the vaccine will not be so much of a choice, even though we have a choice in terms of doing what we need to do in certain things. But eventually, I think that if we need to trade, if we need to travel, all of us going to have to end up.
So it then becomes mandatory.
It will become, well,
because
I'll say it will be mandatory, not directly, but indirectly.
Because one of the points the lady made was borne out by Dr. Laws by saying that even though millions around the world has been taking the vaccine, there is no guarantee. There are too many unknowns.
Yes. I agree
so
with you,
she
but
made a
what
valid
are
point.
the alternatives?
There are too many unknowns. This was stated by Dr. Laws. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. Even though millions around the world have taken it.
But at the same time, you don't take the vaccine. What next? What do you take? Because you see, when you tell a child, don't do that, you must say, Johnny, don't do that. This is what you should do.
All right.
So those who come in and tell me, don't do that, show me what I should do.
No.
If you show me what I should do, because right now, this is such a serious case.
Yeah.
People are dying from it.
Yeah.
We understand that.
What are the alternatives? If you have something that are killing people, and you have something that are not working fully, but it's helping some in some way, would you not think that that would be the proper thing to do? To take something that is helping?
Yes, but here's a point that she made. Here's a point she made. She said if the vaccine is to prevent the spread of COVID-19, right? Even people coming in after St Kitts, having taken the vaccine, they still have to go into the 14-day quarantine. Yes. So, I mean, the vaccine does not prevent you or clear you say that you don't have it.
Sure,
you have to go to all protocols still.
I get the impression that, King, that the vaccine is to just that because you have the vaccine in your system,
helps to mitigate.
It will not kill you, but that don't leave you out from being a carrier to spread it to somebody else.
Exactly.
You could capture it and carry it and give it to somebody else.
Correct.
Yes.
That is one of the reasons why when I go to the supermarket and I pick up oranges, when I take them home, I dump them in the sink and wash them because of the fact that I might be bringing it home.
Yes.
And dispose the plastic bag and wash my hands and everything. Because the thing is, it might be in there.
Yes.
And I might not have it, but I might be carrying it and deliver it to somebody, and it might get in their system.
Yes.
So you
into my
still
system.
take all the precautions.
Necessary precautions.
So the point
so
was
if
making.
it do happen, I am at least up to speed, up to some level. But there's no guarantee that you wouldn't be able to pass it on to somebody. It might not affect you.
It means,
but you could give it to somebody else.
For the person's
so preparation and planning is the key. He who failed to plan to fail. Yes. And I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I understand.
Yeah, I was talking about that. You are too long. Go ahead, get off the phone. You are too long.
But
yes, sir.
It's better to do something than nothing.
Yes.
Yes, I understand that. But I'm saying,
we're going to stand outside of the gates and die? Are we going to go inside and see if we have food inside it?
the education and the information must be there that even though you would have taken the vaccine, there's no guarantee, because for the folks who took the vaccine on Anguilla last week, if they come to St Kitts today or tomorrow, they have to go to the same 14-day quarantine.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get that information out
because
there.
we have what you call policies and rules and regulation of which to follow.
Yes.
And we must follow those guidelines if we want to live with our fellow men. We can't come in and live willy-nilly and contaminate the whole country and shut it down. We don't want to go through that. So that is where we have rules and regulations.
You still on
that
the phone?
Why even driving on the road, you must stay on your left-hand side and I don't stay on my left.
You
You
still
cannot have rules.
You still on the phone?
I think we've said that all along. You know, we started off this morning saying that it is a serious situation. You know, and I was saying that, you know, I've personally been touched, and I know other people that have been touched by the deaths of COVID. Welcome, caller.
Welcome to the program, You're Live on Voices. Hello there, You're Live on Voices. I hope you didn't miss this caller. We got about 7 minutes up to the 1 o'clock hour, then we have about 30 minutes after. Let's see. Anyway, continue with it.
Yes, so I think because that caller made it seem like we were being irresponsible and just letting people say exactly what they wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
But we have stressed all along that these are people's personal opinions and that COVID is real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to play it down and buy into the fact that it's, you know, it's a planned virus.
But there were points to ponder.
Yes, there are. There are
points to ponder.
There are. But I don't think anywhere or anyone has said that this vaccine is the cure for COVID. Nobody's said that.
But she was making a point.
But what they've said is that it will reduce the symptoms and taking the vaccine makes you less likely, not completely, less likely to have to go to hospital.
It's supposed to be because there's still too many unknowns.
Exactly. There are still too many unknowns because it's you know, if we're to take it as you know, black and white, then it's a new virus, a new strain of an already existing virus that is now mutating in various areas of the world.
The South African strain versus the UK strain, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So, you know, we still don't know for all of these vaccines that are out there now, the three of them, whether or not any of them are going to, you know, be able to challenge these new strains. We don't know that, and I don't know if anybody's testing it. We just don't have that information.
So would it be fair to say
a leap of faith? If you take the vaccine, it's going to be a leap of faith.
Is it fair to say that we're still in an experimental stage?
Yes, I really believe we are. Yes, I think it is truly fair to say that. I don't think we can say, you know, conclusively, because what we have to understand is a lot of these viruses have got emergency distribution agreements because their efficacy has been over 70%. You know, but that's still
based on what was known.
Yes, but that's still experimental.
It's still experimental.
Yeah.
And the fact is that you hear now that the UK strain is more prevalent, is spreading fast, etc.
Yeah.
And what they have now in South Africa, that which was AstraZeneca.
Yes.
They're stopping the work because they're not sure it can.
They're not sure that the research is going to meet the target group that they want.
So the whole thing is we're panicking to doing something quickly to contain the spread because it's devastating
And because
but
people
at the same
just
time,
aren't taking personal
the
responsibility.
human factor.
Exactly.
The human factor is more responsible than anything else, even here within the Federation.
For the spread.
We had to go to the long queues,
Yes.
lining up, etc.,
Yes.
the lockdown, and people resisted and protested.
Yes.
They put penalties in place. You'll find this, and people protested, but it's the human factor because had those in the U.S. mainland, even when they went to Antigua, they had attitude, we're Americans, you can't tell us what to do. And look at the results.
Exactly.
So one has to look at the human factor. So it shouldn't be dependent on the vaccine.
No.
With all the ifs and the possibilities and we don't know the unknowns, etc.
And this thing about, their excuse is, oh, well, we have flu that kills more people than this. That may be so, but flu doesn't take you into hospital. Flu doesn't put you in an ICU. Okay. Not normally. People die of flu because they have other complications as well. COVID, if you get it and you end up in hospital, you're rolling the dice as to whether or not you come out. That's not the case when you have flu, during flu season. So, and this is a worldwide thing. It's not confined to, the States or England. The whole world is suffering with COVID right now. And I think it's something that we have to take seriously. And I think that people have to take personal responsibility for their safety and the safety of their families.
And at the same time, people have to not just be ready to be sheep.
Yeah.
Because we know that in the early stage of COVID-19, there were French, I won't say the French government, or French scientists were saying, let's go to Africa to experiment.
Yes.
There is a reason for mistrust by black people.
I understand that.
There are lots of reasons for that.
Yeah, I mean, that the secretly sterilizing black women, Yeah. I mean, and that's been done in England as well. Yeah. And injecting us with all kinds of things. Yes, we have a reason to mistrust. We as a people, we have a reason to mistrust.
They did it to the so-called American Indians, they sterilized them.
Yes.
To contain the race. That's why the American Indians just died out. It has been done.
Yes. So we have reasons to mistrust. We have reasons to be cautious. But, and I don't even want to say to put that to the side. No, keep that in the forefront of your mind. But also look at it from a purely scientific perspective.
And be cautious.
This virus...
Don't be the first to jump and take it. Look at the evidence.
Yes.
Look at
all the data that's coming out. Look at what's happening. Stay abreast of all the information.
Be informed.
So that you can make an informed decision when it comes to you and you say, I'm going to take the virus, or I'm going to take the vaccine, or I'm not going to take the vaccine. It is an informed decision based on all the facts that are available to you at this moment in time.
Before we pause for a station break, quick story. I'm not sure it was Hurricane Hugo. It was that earthquake that devastated Haiti some years ago.
Yes.
And after that, Monsanto went into Haiti and offered them grain. And the Haitians threw the grain in the water.
Yes.
And people, because Haitians stupid, they offered them grain. The grain does not replicate. You will have to buy it from Monsanto all the time.
Keep buying it, yeah.
They're not stupid.
Because you cannot take, normally you can harvest some grain and you keep some back as seed, but it doesn't allow you to
so
do
these
that.
so-called stupid Haitians were paying attention. They threw it away and they tell Monsanto to go in nonsense.
It's genetically modified to not reproduce seed, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there are times when we take decisions and people say, oh, you're stupid and you're not. You're not stupid, We're smarter than them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And on that note, we're going to pause for a word from our sponsors and come back. Okay.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9 WINN FM.
Horseroads Building and Nevis Centers are making lawn and garden easy. Come to Horseroads Building and Nevis Center now and get 25% off store-wide on our entire lawn and garden department. Yes! For the months of February and March, Horseroads Building Center and Nevis Center is making improving your lawn and garden easy with 25% off all garden supplies, garden equipment, garden accessories, including weed eaters, lawnmowers, and much more. Get 25% off all lawn and garden items happening now at Horsewood's Building Center in St Kitts and Nevis. Horsewood's Building and Nevis Centers, making home improvement easy.
Get ready for an exciting year with Flow Broadband and TV connecting you at home. Sign up now and get a free Samsung tablet worth over $900. Up to 100 megabits per second blazing internet will keep everyone on top of everything every day. While Flow TV delivers the best home entertainment with the latest shows on demand in HD plus favorites you can record. Visit your nearest Flow store today to sign up for Flow Broadband and TV and get your free Samsung tablet. Conditions apply.
Hot topic today is to vaccinate or not to vaccinate, based on the data, what's out there, and the fact that Anguilla, well, not the fact, just incidentally, Anguilla has started last week to vaccinate the population, all the folks in government, healthcare, as examples to show, well, there's nothing wrong. Fritz Smith and Van Brooks, those guys, Brooks supposed to call me to speak about his experience, and I'm standing by for that call. But in the meantime, very, very interesting debate on the vaccination, the efficacy, the various strains of COVID-19, how it's affecting, and it's guesswork to a very large extent.
Yes.
We're in panic, and I think we are asked to make an uninformed decision. We trust our health officials. We're here in SKEN. They've kept us safe, etc. But there should be a conversation, because there's those who are still of the impression that once you take the vaccination, it's a done deal, it's all over.
It's all, and it's not.
It is not.
Far from it.
So if the end game is to take the vaccination to make you COVID-free, etc., that's not the case.
That's not the case, no.
Because currently now, according to Dr. Wilkinson, if you have taken the vaccination, once you arrive within the Federation, you would still have to observe all the protocols. 14 days quarantine, we're not trusting it.
No.
So if we trusted it, well, you had the vaccination, you're good to go, then.
But like I said, nobody has said, you take our vaccine and you will not get COVID. Nobody's said that.
Right.
What they've said, it will alleviate some of the symptoms.
Hopefully.
It might hopefully prevent you from having to go into hospital.
And then with the 2 or 3 now recognized variants, we have a bigger problem.
Yes. So, nobody, I don't know if anybody, sorry, that's come out and said, I don't know. No. I don't know of any of these companies that have said this vaccine is going to cure COVID-19. So, so I think that's a message that people have to take away from today, is that even if you do take the vaccine, we are still at risk of getting COVID-19.
We got 25 minutes left into this program. If you wish to contact us for Lil Wayne, your opinion, your thoughts on the whole issue to vaccinate and not to vaccinate, it's 466-0989.
662-0989.
762-0989.
For the United States, 718-265-6984.
Florida area, you got 508-921-4619. Once again, 508-921-4619. And UK?
For the UK, 0333-044-0065.
Brenda O'Neill up there in Charlotte, have you taken your vaccination? Chris, have you taken your vaccine? Amber in Anguilla, talk to me when you're taking your vaccine down there. And, it makes for a good discussion, because the region, I think Barbados would
Barbados are just going to roll out now. St. Lucia.
Yes, we would have missed that caller who tried to get in after the break. We would ask you to try again, please. We would like to get your opinion on this whole topic of to vaccinate or not to vaccinate. Anything you want to talk about, please give us a call again, try again. Keep lines open for you.
Yeah, so the news was just saying that Barbados. Yeah. So, and I think, again, it's still about educating the public that even if you've taken the vaccine, we still have things to do. We still have to wear our masks. We still have to hand sanitize.
It's important.
It's still
this
important.
This is key again.
Yes.
Even though, I'd like you to repeat that. Please, go ahead.
Okay. So even if you have been vaccinated, you are still going to have to go through quarantine if you visit St Kitts. You still should be wearing your masks.
The mic is yours, caller. Welcome to Voices. Oh, we would have lost a caller. Are you still there? Okay, there is a technical thing on the line, so please keep trying. We would like to hear from you. Okay.
Yes, so you're still going to have to wear your mask, still hand sanitize, and do all the things that keep you safe and keep your family safe. I love the gentleman that was on before, before the break. He's saying he still takes his produce and everything home and wipes them all off. I bet you if you questioned half the people walking down there, they're like, they'd like, do what? I have a little station. I live in a studio apartment, but I still have a little station that when I bring my groceries in, I rest everything down there, unpack everything, wipe everything off, get rid of all unnecessary packaging, and then wash my hands, put everything away, and then wipe down that area.
Because you're mindful, you're also a health care provider.
That's it.
You work in health.
But
you're medically trained, so you're more mindful about the layman, the other guy around town once in a while.
So, so there's still a lot that we have to do, and I keep saying it. The government have their role to play, but we as individuals have our role to play too. And we've done so much, and we've come so far, just for it all to be for naught. We need to keep wearing our masks. And what I think is really horrible? The abuse that people are getting in shops for telling people, please put your mask over your face and nose. Mm-hmm. People are outwardly abusing them with profanity. It's not right when people are just doing their jobs.
Therein lies caller. Hopefully we have this one. You'll have one Voices. Go right ahead.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Hi, cool. My concern is in regards to the vaccine. You have COVID is just about a year old.
Yes.
Right?
Well, over. Because the track first in December of 2018, 2019. Yes,
okay. Okay, just over a year. And we come up with something that could be used. My thing is, it's around for memorial.
AIDS?
Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
AIDS, cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Blood pressure. Diabetes. How come they can't come up with nothing for that?
Good question. I don't have the answer for that one.
I could give sort of an educated guess, but I'd probably be way off. But I think that COVID has had a massive financial impact, an economic impact, whereas cancer and HIV/AIDS and diabetes, those don't have such a massive impact on the economy, on people's wealth.
Yes, but yes, I understand the amount of people who had lost their lives and that kind of thing, as I said, job-wise. But I'm saying, with time that AIDS and cancer is on the rise.
Yeah.
You're telling me that up to now they start trying to find a vaccine?
Or a cure, yeah. I mean, it's where your priorities lie as well. Cancer is a multi-billion-dollar industry
for big pharma.
For big pharma, it's not very beneficial for them to cure it, is it?
No. But with this one now, because it affects the economy smack in the face, people can't work and all that. I want to say that's the only driving factor behind it, because
but it's a big factor.
We lost like 50 million persons, which was during the 2018 in that pandemic. We're up to how many now, 100 something?
Yeah.
But carriers, but not death.
Yeah.
We just over 400,000 deaths in the US.
And the thing is, with non-communicable diseases, the World Health Organization says something like 63% of the world's death is due to
Attributed to-
non-communicable diseases. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're not doing enough to prevent them or to cure them. We just aren't. But I think that the impact, because, you know, COVID has killed a lot of people in a very short period of time. Non-communicable diseases are over a long period. They tend to have a longer lifespan. The disease. Sorry?
I will be to the back of the line.
I was going to answer the question. Do not leave unless you answer the question to vaccinate or not. But you say you will be at the back of the line. That, to me, is a sensible approach. Yeah, the back of the line.
Yeah. And then if you like moving too fast, I just might
double back.
Yes. To some, it's not a laughing matter, right? But the fact is, one has to be cautious and get all the information, as much data as possible, because it shouldn't be like a snap, done deal, right? As I said earlier, the Biden administration is about to implement a no test, no flight policy. That they will expand to a no vaccine, no flight policy. I expect this to go long. If you will go to refer to what was predicted in the Bible, foretold, this is all part of that, that story. So the caller earlier was right. It's not about conspiracy. If you accept what's predicted in Revelation, it's now being unfolded. Whether you like it or not. Your reality doesn't have to be the reality. The fact is, if you accept what's in the Bible, we are seeing it unfold today. In live and living color. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It's about 40 minutes past the 1 o'clock hour, and you listen to Voices. Today we have in the studio, of course, co-host Magaret Stevens and myself, and we go straight to the lines. Call your live on Voices.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Yola. Welcome to Voices.
Oh, my goodness. I thought this line was blocked.
No.
What happened? I stirred up a hornet's nest? Well, you see, any discussion that is worth its salt will rock the brain waves of persons to think. And if persons get angry at what is said, you know you're hitting runs really.
Okay.
Mr. Moderator.
I'm listening.
I had a discussion with someone who said that I'm going to say they, is a frontline worker in the land of the eagle. Well, they said that they already took the vaccine because as far as they're concerned, they had no other option.
Okay.
Because they're in the front line.
Yeah.
You know, and when we went on and so on, and then afterwards, I took the opportunity and I asked that person, I said, look, where we are here, we have been hearing about a lot of cases, death cases from this COVID. I asked them the question, can you verify for a fact that all of these cases of deaths that we hear that is related to COVID, is it the truth? Did they all die from COVID? And that person said, no. Many of those deaths are not
related,
did not have anything to do with COVID. But they took the vaccine because they're in the forefront, in the front line. Maybe they didn't want to. No. I said what I say, right? And let me say something quickly before I go off. The female caller, and this is the hypocrisy of some of our people. I have heard that female caller on talk shows before, and she banging she mouth on and on and on and on, and I have heard host of program ask her to wind up. You know, it could be that maybe she didn't hear, but she kept on and on and on. But now she's going to come on and condemn somebody. The program is Voices. The moderators, they are the ones who are there to run the show. I will never, ever come on, get out of line, and take such liberty on myself to say I am chastising any host of any show, telling them, oh, how they have people on the line talking long. Because you see, it seems like some people, they feel like only they alone is around the center of monopoly when it comes to knowledge. People must listen to them, but nobody must listen to anybody else. Suppose people call in and say what she's chatting is nonsense. How would she like it?
Then we have a back and forth, which we try to discourage. But you would have made your valid points.
I'm not in any back and forth.
I know.
I'm not in any back and forth. But I'm a soldier. I like to defend when needs be. But this was done openly, so I'm just responding. I didn't have to. But sometimes some of these people need to know their limitation and they need to know their place. Because they feel like people must listen to them, but nobody must listen to nobody else. I have already said, I give whatever contribution when I feel like, if I feel like calling in, I do not attack people and what they say. Because in every nonsense, there is something to learn.
Yes.
A man never done learning until the day they die. I will never say that anybody's contribution is nonsense. If I have to say anything, I speak to what they say, and I try to come with my facts, and I deal with the issues. But them days way out of line. But anyway, there ain't nobody for me to look up to as an example anyway, because I could understand where she's coming from. Because
and we keep
anyway,
it civil.
leave it like that. You all have a blessed day.
We keep it impersonal. Thank you very much. Okay, sometimes these things happen, but of course it's called voices. You're gonna have clashes of opinion, but that's okay.
Yeah, and we're not going to get personal. We're not going to drag anybody down.
We keep it civil.
We're going to uplift each other and try and share knowledge that we believe that we have.
And we go straight to the lines. Caller, welcome to Voices. They're gone. Caller, you're live on Voices. Good afternoon, caller. You're live on Voices.
Socrates, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How about now?
Not too bad. And good afternoon to your co-host.
Good afternoon.
Magaret Stevens, yes.
Socrates, this about the 9 to 10. Well, go on, boy. Anyway, let me not waste my time.
Voices, come to the point.
Yes,
go ahead.
I watch one, the watch board at all.
No.
Anyway, let me say good afternoon to your engineer. Remember who your engineer is? Good afternoon.
He's on the other side. I think he can hear you. Engineer?
Yeah. Socrates.
Yes, go ahead.
Your question, name no. Right? This is the first no you get to do, right?
The first no?
No.
No, we got a couple of no's, but in a sense, no. They said no. They'll be at the back of the line, etc.
No. You're not the line. You're in the line. Socrates, come on. You're in the line. You're not the line at all. All right?
You got a point.
Yeah, you're not the line, and your watch. You
got a point.
But me personally, me don't even want to even know the line. All right?
Okay.
You got a marvelous point.
Yeah, me hear somebody talk about guarantee. Socrates, the only guaranteed they are debt, you know.
That's true, yes.
All right?
Yes.
That is so.
And pertaining to talking nonsense, Socrates, the people of Noah's Day, no me talk nonsense.
You got a point.
So that's why they miss the boat. You get me?
You got some classics, man.
They never see rain. I know say you go rain, because water just spring up and out to the ground.
And is they talking nonsense?
No, I say you go rain. Look, I come in. 120 years. They say no, and the family they're gone, and look this and look that. Then see the ark bill.
They laugh.
Then see animals are going. Socrates, they say animals are going. But no, make that nonsense.
This is a classic.
Anyway, Megan, are we talking? Good. Okay.
What a contribution. Master Rats, that's awesome. Elvis, You're on the line. You have no excuse. But that's a classic. That's a classic.
Yes, yeah.
You say you don't even want to know
Because
where
we're
the
very
line is.
curious, yeah.
And yes, one has to be mindful when you take other people's contribution and call it nonsense. Call your live on voices. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
Almost every week we hear of a new case in St Kitts, right?
Yes.
The question I keep asking, and nobody seems to answer yet, what kind of medication that those people are put on? That after a day, for a few days or a week you hear that they're free to go back out into the public. Let's take, for instance, President Trump. President Trump came down with the COVID. I didn't hear he got any kind of vaccine. So the question I keep asking all the time, the 30-odd people who came here who had the COVID, what was the preferred drugs given to those people that they are now free to come out into society? None of them, as far as I know, was given the vaccine.
No, because we didn't have it.
Because we don't have it yet.
Yeah.
Interesting point
So
of
the
view.
question is, what? Because none of those health providers are telling us yet. They're put into quarantine, and after 14 days or somewhere between there, they're free to come out into society.
That's a very valid question.
So what were they giving them? If what they were giving them with it, because they say, according to the good doctor, my good doctor, he's saying that there's no guarantee after you get it, you won't get it.
Exactly, yes.
So my question is, if you're going to put me in quarantine and give me whatever drug they're giving them, then do I have to take the vaccine? Because I don't know, sir, if you're old enough to know, in our day, when they give us the vaccine, lots of people used to come down sick.
Yes.
Can't go back
Swelling,
to school.
vomiting, etc.
High fever and all that there.
Yes.
I never know if
I'm old
anybody
enough.
dying yet.
No.
And like I said already, like somebody said previously, that, black people have to be very careful because the stories, let's talk about the Tuskegee. They were deliberately given syphilis to see the reaction. So black people have to be very careful because, you know what is making it so bad? Because it's easy now to jump on the internet and get all the information you want. You're getting so much confusing information now that you do not know which one is the correct one.
That's true.
In our day, my boy, you had all the information. You just have to believe that what people say by word of mouth.
Yeah, leap of faith.
But now, you hear stories about this man, I can't remember his name. There are too many people in the world, and they had to get rid of some of them. And they're starting with black people. You heard the story about AIDS starting in Africa. Why Africa? It only turned out that was not true. So we, as a people, black people, have to be very cautious what they give us, because we know black people is a problem.
Yes.
Some people, when they mix with certain
make us a
race of
problem.
people, when they mix with certain race of people, they come out with a different slant. But black people, like myself and you and the lady there, have to be very careful. We have to, like I said already, we have to be careful. I would like the good doctor, my good doctor, to tell me what those people they put into quarantine.
What they put in the soup?
They're giving rest. They're giving a lot of fluid. What they're using, because if they're using something that they're free to go into society, well, maybe I could use it too, and I don't have to get the vaccine. You understand my point?
Yes. Yes.
Point taken.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for that contribution. But I'll add, though, it has been documented. And let me use the word big pharma or pharmaceutical companies have gone to Africa and use Africa as a testing ground for many of their so-called drugs.
Yes.
And use vaccine and actually wiped out villages. They've done that. That's documented. So even prior to COVID. So that is why the French scientists felt at liberty to say, let's go to Africa and test them first.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And because they are still claiming ownership of the Republic.
We take this caller at 26 minutes to. Well,
okay, that means we have 6 minutes. No, that's the caller now. Yes, greetings again to you, ISA.
Yes, that's right, Elias. Go ahead.
Thanks for the reasoning, you know. It it is good to be in the land of the living.
Definitely.
Definitely good to be in the land of the living. We want to bless up and big up humanity, as His Majesty would say. You know? Every smarty in St Kitts and Nevis and beyond the whole world. Good to be in the land of the living. Some interesting time.
Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Are you there?
Oh, he's gone.
We would have lost Vascular X.
So what was I saying? Totally forgot. having a temporary senile moment.
Yeah, well, the point the gentleman made, the last caller, what is it exactly? How do they deal with the quarantine? What happens in the interim, the 14 days interim? What medications do they give them so after 14 days they're good to go?
Yeah, I don't know. My cousin, she was tested positive, and you know, and then
upon arrival here.
No, she's in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And she tested positive and you know, asked me what she should do. And I said, you know, lots of fluids, you know, make sure you're eating a variety of foods and, you know, avoid things that are going to produce mucus like cheese and dairy and that. Take all of those out of your diet. But she never mentioned any medication that she was taking specifically for it. I think that if you're symptomatic and you've tested positive, then you just ride it through. Okay. Unless you have to go to the hospital because of respiratory complications. So I don't know. I mean, I know that she did the 14 days and got tested again and tested negative. But when she tested positive, she never mentioned that anybody gave her any medication.
I have a niece coming down on Sunday next. And she'll be quarantined for 14 days. So hopefully after that she can give me some insight as a person who would have gone through it. But even when DJ Mauricio was here, we got about a minute before we go. Call 11 Voices. Call 11 Voices.
Socrates.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, more important call come. Let me just call back to tell you that the governor, the premier, and the governor wife take the vaccine today. They launched. In
Montserrat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The premier, the governor, the governor. The premier, the governor, and his wife took the vaccine today.
The governor and the governor wife.
So they lead by example.
Yeah, but with the health minister. I hear the vaccine come too. You can I'm a cousin. Not so not multi, because I'm a cousin. So not so not multi, but
you are a classic.
Me think he do. Okay, then Socrates, how we talk?
That's the best note on which to end this report.
It is. We can't beat that. We really can't.
It's been the most wonderful program today. We had calls from within and without, and the topic was to take or not take the vaccine. And from that, we went to some very interesting discussion, point of view, etc. And the last caller there. So I'm going to let you wrap up on that one because...
Let me wrap up?
Yes, you wrap up.
How do I follow that? Really, how do I follow that?
Callers, you go right ahead.
So, you know, I think the things to take away today is that you have to understand that the vaccine is not a cure, but it should help to alleviate some of the problems, and that we as individuals need to take responsibility for ourselves, continue with our social distancing, wearing masks, sanitizing, and also making sure that you're wiping down all the packages and things that you're bringing into your home, and creating an environment in your home that is safe for you and your family.
Once again, thanks to all our callers, our contributors, all the viewers on the viewers platform. Next Monday, God's willing, we'll be back with another episode of Voices, and maybe I'll have my co-host along with me. She makes the show so much more interesting and appealing. Between now and then, peace, love, and a much healthier tomorrow. Did I say right?
Yeah,
a much healthier tomorrow.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.
Currently,